The enormous alien ship drifted through the void of space, its blackened hull spanning over 2 miles in length. Its surface bristled with arrays of sensors and planet-killer weapons. A menacing testament to its name, Void's Eye, the ship was the apex of the Zelkari fleet, renowned and feared across the galaxy for its ability to detect anything, anywhere. Commander Vexel stood on the bridge, arms clasped tightly behind him. His large, pitch-black eyes studied the floating star charts before him. The Zelkari, with their insect-like exoskeletons and spindly, razor-sharp limbs, exuded an aura of calculated efficiency. For over 50 years, Vexel had pursued his prey. With an unblemished record, Commander Lieutenant Zarakis called from her station, her clicking voice betraying a rare edge of excitement. "I found something unusual near the third planet." Vexel moved swiftly, his clawed feet clicking against the metal floor. "Show me," he ordered. The central screen flickered to life, displaying a stretch of empty space. At first, there was nothing, just stars and the dim glow of a distant planet. Then Zarokas fine-tuned the sensors, and the outline of a ship materialized. It was alien but unmistakably human. Zarokas's tone turned disdainful. "Human vessel," she sneered. The Zelkari had always considered humans an oddity feared by many but dismissed as weak by their kind. Vexel studied the vessel intently. It was small compared to Void's Eye, a mere 800 feet long. Its hull was scarred, dark gray, and marred with bizarre markings. Evident battle damage and powered-down sections marred its surface. "What class is it?" he asked. Zarakis' multiple limbs worked swiftly. "The computer identifies it as Arena Class designation Iron Maiden. Quan scans detect minimal life signs. 12 humans. The design is ... peculiar. Arena Class," Vexel repeated, his curiosity piqued. "What is its purpose?" "Our database has little information, Commander," Zarakis replied. "It appears to be some kind of specialized combat vessel, but its configuration is highly unorthodox." Vexel's intrigue deepened. Zelkari had spent decades attempting to decode human military designs, often uncovering unpredictable innovations. This ship, however, was unlike any he had encountered. "Are its weapon systems operational?" he asked. "Negative, Commander," Zarakis confirmed. "Minimal life support and navigation systems are active. Humans appear to be in stasis. A damaged human warship, defenseless and ripe for analysis." The prospect thrilled Vexel. The intelligence he could gather here would elevate his standing within the Zelkari High Command. "Begin deep scans," Vexel ordered. "I want every detail: how it functions, its weaponry, and its unique characteristics." Zarakis complied, her forearms a blur across her controls. "Full spectrum analysis initiated. It'll take approximately 1 hour," Vexel observed. As scanning beams stretched from Void's Eye toward the derelict ship surrounding the Iron Maiden in an electric blue glow, the results began to stream onto his screen, each data point uncovering the secrets hidden within the enigmatic vessel. Within minutes, the scans revealed standard fusion engines, basic life support, and ordinary crew quarters aboard the human ship. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual. However, as the scans probed deeper, anomalies began to appear. "Commander," Zarakis said, her tone edged with confusion, "I'm detecting equipment that doesn't match any known configuration in our database. There are vast chambers housing unidentified machinery, and the power systems are far more intricate than expected." Vexel's intrigue grew. "Continue." "The scans," he ordered. "Record every detail inside this human vessel." On the bridge of the Iron Maiden, Captain Jake Morrison sat alone in the command chair, seemingly asleep. His breathing was deep and measured, his hands resting lightly. On the armrests, tall, with short brown hair and a face marked by scars of past battles, Jake's black uniform bore no insignia. He appeared ordinary at first glance, but there was an unmistakable intensity in his stillness and aura of latent danger. Elsewhere on the ship, 11 other humans sat similarly unmoving, their poses calm but charged with a peculiar stillness. They weren't asleep in any conventional sense. What the Zelkari scanners perceived was something entirely different. The Void's Eye continued its relentless scan, pouring energy into the Iron Maiden. Vexel's excitement mounted as data streamed across his screens. Soon, the secrets of human technology would be laid bare. Within the Iron Maiden, something unexpected was stirring. The scanning energy triggered dormant systems, coaxing them back to life. Lights that had been extinguished for weeks flickered on. On the bridge, Jake Morrison's eyes snapped open. His movements were deliberate, devoid of haste. He sat motionless, listening to the faint hum of the ship's engines, gleaning all he needed to know. Someone was probing his ship. A slow, predatory smile crept across his face, a shark's smile before the strike. For 3 weeks, the Iron Maiden had drifted here, feigning damage and vulnerability, a perfect lure for curious enemies. "Computer," Jake said softly, his voice steady. "Status report. All systems operational, Captain. The ship's." AI responded in a calm, feminine tone. "We are currently under scan by a Zelkari vessel, the Void's Eye. Commander Vexel, in command. Estimated crew, 400. Perfect," Jake murmured. He pressed a button on his chair. "All hands, this is the captain. Time to wake up. We've got company." Throughout the ship, the other humans stirred from their meditation. This was no ordinary rest. It was a state of combat meditation, a practiced discipline that honed their reflexes and heightened awareness while their bodies recovered. In the navigation section, First Officer Lisa Carter opened her sharp green eyes. Her short red hair framed a face honed by years of combat. Lisa had flown alongside Jake for over 5 years, mastering arena combat tactics. She could navigate an asteroid field blindfolded. "Good morning, Captain," Lisa said through the comms. "Looks like we've caught some bugs." In the engine room, Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks stretched his massive arms. Built like a mountain with hands strong enough to bend steel, Ryan's true gift lay with machines. He could coax the Iron Maidens. Engines into feats that defied expectation, that should have been impossible. "All power systems ready, Capta," Ryan reported, his deep voice steady. "The reactor's been idle for weeks. She's itching to show what she can do." One by one, the crew checked in. Weapons Specialist Amy Rodriguez confirmed all systems were armed and primed. Communications Officer Rachel Stone monitored alien frequencies with precision. Security Chief Tony Clark assured him that defensive protocols were fully operational. Jake listened, his confidence building. His crew wasn't just good, they were the best. They had triumphed against insurmountable odds before, and today would be no different. "Computer," Jake commanded, "give me a full scan of the alien ship." The main screen displayed the Zelkari vessel. Jake let out a low whistle. The Void's Eye was massive, at least 3 times the size of the Iron Maiden, bristling with weapons and thick armor plating. "Impressive," Jake admitted. "But size doesn't matter in the arena." On board the Void's Eye, Commander Vexel's confusion deepened as he studied the latest scans. The human ship, once a crippled wreck, now showed full power across all systems, Commander, Zarakis called, her voice tinged with alarm. "The human ship is no longer dormant, all systems are online." Vexel rushed to her station. Display revealed the Iron Maiden transforming sealed weapon ports, opening engine outputs spiking. The helpless vessel had morphed into something entirely different. "How is this possible?" Vexel demanded. "Our scans showed extensive damage." "I believe we were deceived, Commander," Zarakis replied grimly. "The humans hid their true capabilities. This is a trap." Before Vexel could respond, the communication system crackled. "To life." A calm, relaxed human voice echoed through the bridge, as if its owner were chatting about trivialities. "Zelkari vessel Void's Eye," the voice said. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Arena-class ship Iron Maiden. Thanks for the wake-up call. We've been itching for action." Vexel activated the comm system. "Human vessel, surrender immediately. You are outgunned and outnumbered. Resistance is futile. Outgunned, outnumbered." Jake's laughter rang through both ships, sharp and mocking. "Maybe, but you made one huge mistake, bug boy." "What mistake?" Vexel asked, dread creeping into his voice. "You scanned an arena ship," Jake replied, his tone icy. "And that means you just issued a formal challenge?" Arena protocol is now in effect. Space around both ships began to shimmer, a massive energy field forming a luminous sphere. It pulsed with red and gold light, beautiful and menacing. "What is this?" Vexel shouted. "Welcome to the arena," Jake said, his voice calm and unforgiving. "The rules are simple. 2 ships enter. Only 1 leaves. No running, no reinforcements, no surrender. Just combat, pure and brutal, until one of us is finished." "Arena boundary established," Captain Lisa Carter's voice came over the comms. "Field strength at maximum. Nothing gets in or out until we have a winner."
Crack, 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 crack.
Panic spread across the Zelkari crew as the realization hit. What they thought was a crippled human vessel had lured them into a trap. The Iron Maiden wasn't a mere warship, it was a gladiator vessel, designed for the deadliest battles in the galaxy. Weapons specialist Amy Rodriguez leaned closer to her console, her sharp eyes scanning the readouts. Though small in stature, Amy had earned her reputation in the arena circuit since she was 18, her skill unmatched. She could identify nearly any weapon system in the galaxy from its energy signature alone. "Standard loadout for a ship this size," Amy reported. "Plasma cannons, missile launchers, and an energy beam weapon I don't recognize. Nothing we haven't dealt with before." Jake nodded. "What about their defenses?" "Heavy armor plating and energy shields," Amy replied. "Strong, but not invincible. I see structural weak points in their design." Satisfied, Jake turned to Ryan. "How's the special systems looking?" Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks grinned, his rugged face bearing the scars of countless arena battles. "The probability cascade drive is fully charged, Captain. Quantum field generators are operating at peak efficiency." The probability cascade drive was the Iron Maiden's ASA weapon, so advanced most species dismissed its existence as myth. It allowed the ship to exist in multiple quantum states during combat, making it nearly impossible to pin down or target accurately. "Excellent," Jake said. "Lisa, combat formation." First Officer Lisa Carter's hands danced over her controls. The Iron Maiden began to morph before the Zelkari's horrified eyes. Hidden panels slid open, exposing weapon arrays. The ship's hull shifted, reconfiguring itself from a battered cargo vessel into a menacing predator. On the Void's eye, Lieutenant Zarakis watched the transformation, her dread palpable. "Commander, the human ship is ... transforming." "Isn't standard military technology?" "I can see that." Vexel snapped. "Contact High Command. Request immediate reinforcements." Zarakis worked frantically at her console, but soon turned, her face pale. "No response, Commander. The energy field is blocking all long-range communication. We're completely isolated." The realization hit the Zelkari crew like a tidal wave. They were trapped with a human ship designed for this exact scenario. Jake's voice came over their comms again, his tone casual yet cutting. "Zelkari vessel, let me explain the rules since you seem a bit lost. Arena combat follows ancient human traditions. No reinforcements, no retreat, no surrender. We fight until one ship can't fight anymore. This is madness," Vexel shouted. "We are scientists, not warriors." "Then you shouldn't have scanned an arena ship," Jake said, amused. "You challenged us the moment your sensors locked on. The arena field is active, and it won't drop until this fight is over." Combat Engineer Sam Torres, a quiet man known for devising unsettling strategies, spoke from his station. "Captain, should I activate psychological warfare systems?" Jake considered for a moment. "Not yet, Sam. Let's see what they can do first." Fair's fair. The Zelkari crew overheard the exchange with growing dread. To the humans, psychological warfare wasn't desperation, it was strategy. These weren't soldiers fighting for survival. They were gladiators reveling in the thrill of combat. "Commander, should we fire?" the weapons officer asked. "Our plasma cannons are ready."
Axel
hesitated. His instincts screamed to strike first, but something about the human ship unnerved him. It moved differently than any vessel he'd faced, fluid, unpredictable, like a living predator. "Target their weapons," Axel ordered. "Full power. Plasma barrage." The Void's Eye unleashed its arsenal, streams of superheated plasma arcing toward the Iron Maiden.
Ow.
But as the energy beams closed in, the human ship split into 3 shimmering images. The plasma passed through 2 illusions, striking the third only for it to vanish. What just happened? Vexel demanded. Where did they go? His question was answered as the Iron Maiden appeared above his ship, seemingly out of nowhere. It hung there, silent and menacing, like a predator savoring its prey. Jake's voice echoed across the Zelkari. Bridge, nice shot, he mocked. Inside the Iron Maiden, the crew worked with a calm precision born from years of arena combat. They weren't afraid. They were exhilarated. Amy, Jake said, his smile razor-sharp. Show them what human weapons can do. Amy cracked her knuckles, her fingers poised over the controls. With pleasure, Captain, she replied. Initiating. Chaos Pattern 7. The Iron Maiden opened fire, but not in the way the Zelkari expected. Instead of aiming directly at their ship, the human weapons fired seemingly at random. With energy beams and missiles scattering wildly across the arena field, they're firing erratically, Commander Vexel muttered, watching in disbelief. They're missing us completely. Have they lost their minds? I don't think they're missing, Lieutenant Zorica said, her voice tight with unease as she studied her sensors. The energy readings are ... strange. Something is happening that our computers cannot comprehend. Zorakis was right to be concerned. The Iron Maiden's fire wasn't random at all. Each shot was meticulously calculated. Energy beams ricocheted off the arena field walls, creating a web of destruction that closed in on the Zelkari ship from impossible angles. Incoming fire from all sides. The weapons officer screamed, panic rising in his voice. Ah! It's impossible. The shots are coming from directions that shouldn't exist. The Void's Eye shuddered as a barrage of energy beams and missiles struck it from every conceivable angle. The ship's shields flared and sparked, struggling to hold. Explosions rattled the hull as several shots pierced the defensive barriers. On the Iron Maiden, navigator Pete Williams calmly plotted their next move. Pete was a wiry man with gray hair, a veteran of countless perilous missions. His uncanny ability to calculate flight paths others would deem suicidal was legendary. Captain, Pete called out, a grin in his voice. I've got a gorgeous asteroid field pattern ready. Shall we show them how humans really fly? I do. Jake replied. The Iron Maiden accelerated with a speed that defied reason, spinning and twisting through the arena field like a dancer. It wove through the chaos, never lingering long enough for the Zelkari to lock on. Onboard communications, Officer Rachel Stone opened a channel to the Void's Eye, speaking in 17 different languages, including several the Zelkari believed extinct. Her cheerful, friendly tone made her words all the more unsettling. Hello, bug friends? Rachel chirped in flawless Zelkari. Are you enjoying yourselves? We certainly aren't. It's been weeks since we've had this much fun. She switched to an ancient Zelkari dialect, one unspoken for millennia. Your ancestors would be ashamed of your cowardice. Even their younglings showed more courage. The psychological blow was devastating. How did the humans know their ancient language? Their ancestors. The Iron Maiden wasn't just fighting, it was toying with them like a predator. With its prey in the medical bay, Dr. Kate Miller prepared for casualties with the calm of a seasoned combat medic. Middle-aged, with steady hands and nerves of steel, she had seen worse. Captain. Kate's voice came over the comms. Should I ready the fear toxin dispensers? They already seem ... unsettled. Not yet, Jake replied casually. Let's see what else they've got. Fair's fair. This kind of calm conversation about deploying chemical weapons mid-battle was why humans were feared throughout the galaxy. Other species fought out of necessity. Humans fought because they thrived on it. Security Chief Tony Clark monitored the defensive systems. A hulking figure with scars from countless battles, Tony specialized in preparing for close combat. Captain. Tony reported, their ship design suggests a preference for long-range combat. They likely have little experience with boarding actions. Shall I prep the welcome party? Be ready, but hold for now, Jake ordered. Let's see if they're bold enough to try. On the Void's Eye, Commander Vexel finally understood the magnitude of his error. This wasn't a battle between military vessels. It was a performance by human gladiators who treated Mortal Kombat as entertainment. "Commander," his engineering officer reported, "our shields are down to 60%. Hull damage is minimal, but they're targeting our weapon systems. They're playing with us. Could have destroyed us." Vexel muttered, his voice hollow. "But they're keeping us alive for sport." The reality was worse than he feared. The Iron Maiden wasn't merely fighting to win. It was learning. Every Zelkari shot, every tactic. Every move was being recorded and analyzed by the ship's AI. Chris Parker, the ship's data analyst, observed the process with practiced efficiency. Young but brilliant, Chris could decipher data streams that overwhelmed most people, Captain Chris reported. "The enemy is repeating their attack patterns. AI predicts their next moves with 97% accuracy." Jake nodded, his expression sharp with satisfaction. This was arena combat. The longer the fight, the more the Iron Maiden adapted. Soon the Zelkari would have nothing left to offer. Time to show them something new, Jake decided. "Amy, activate the probability storm." Amy Rodriguez's hands moved swiftly over her controls. The space around the Iron Maiden shimmered and twisted as the probability storm came to life. The ship's most advanced and devastating weapon. The probability storm was the pinnacle of human arena engineering. A weapon that didn't merely fire energy or projectiles. It unleashed possibilities themselves. "Commander." Vexel stood paralyzed as reality itself seemed to unravel around the Iron Maiden. The human ship appeared in dozens of locations simultaneously. Some versions fired weapons, others moved in ways that defied physics, while others phased in and out of existence, flickering like mirages. "What is happening?" Vexel roared at his science officer, his voice cracking under the strain. It violates every law of physics we know, Commander," science officer stammered, her hands trembling over her console. "I believe they're manipulating quantum probability fields, creating multiple versions of reality at once." The Void's Eye's targeting systems spiraled into chaos. Every attempt to lock onto the human ship revealed a cascade of targets, some real, others quantum echoes, and many probabilities that only might become real under certain conditions. It was as if the Iron Maiden had transcended the limits of the Zelkari's comprehension. On the Iron Maiden's bridge, Captain Jake Morrison observed the spectacle with calm focus. The probability storm was a breathtaking display of light and energy, its deadly elegance both mesmerizing and terrifying. Jake understood the risks. This was technology pushed to the brink of what humans could control. "Amy," Jake called, to his weapons specialist. "How long can we sustain this?" 10 minutes at most, Captain," Amy replied. "After that, the quantum fields will destabilize." Jake nodded. 10 minutes was more than enough. The Zelkari were clearly overwhelmed and disoriented, and it was time to end the battle in the proper arena tradition. "Open a channel to the alien ship," Jake ordered. Rachel Stone, ever precise, activated the communications system. "Channel. Open, Captain." Jake's voice resonated across the Void's Eye's bridge, but this time it carried a different tone. Gone was the amusement and taunting. In its place was seriousness and respect. "Commander Vexel," Jake began, "you have fought with determination, but this battle is over. I offer you the traditional arena choice. Surrender with honor, and you and your crew will be treated as respected opponents. Refuse, and my ship will destroy yours completely." Vexel surveyed the devastation around him. Shields were collapsing, his weapons systems failing, and his crew visibly shaken. But pride burned within him. The thought of surrendering to humans felt unbearable. "What happens if we surrender?" Vexel asked, his voice taut. "You will have a choice," Jake replied evenly. "Join my crew as honored fighters. Many of my best began as former adversaries who chose to learn our ways. Or, if you prefer, you may return to your people with the story of what transpired here." Lieutenant Zarakis turned to Vexel, her wide black eyes pleading. "Commander," she whispered, "we cannot win. Perhaps we should consider his offer." Vexel closed his eyes, grappling with the weight of his decision. His pride urged him to fight to the bitter end. But his crew 400 Zelkari who relied on him did not deserve to die for his stubbornness. When Vexel spoke again, his voice was steady, though tinged with sorrow. "Human captain," he said, "I accept your offer. We surrender." The probability storm ceased. The quantum distortions vanished, and the Iron Maiden returned to normal space, pristine and unscathed. It was as if the impossible battle had never occurred. "An excellent choice, Commander," Jake said, his tone carrying genuine respect. "It takes courage to admit defeat. That is true strength." The red and gold energy field surrounding the two ships began to fade. The arena dissolving as quickly as it had formed, the energy barriers dissolved, returning normal space to the void, but the battle wasn't quite over. Systems analyst Chris Parker worked deftly at his console, uploading the complete battle record to the Galactic Communication Network. This was an essential part of arena tradition. Every fight was recorded and broadcast so other species could witness and learn. "Battle record uploaded," Captain Chris announced. "It's now part of the official arena database." Within minutes, the story of the battle began to spread across the galaxy. Alien civilizations would watch, fascinated and horrified as the Zelkari were soundly defeated. They would see technology that defied the laws of physics and learn the consequence of recklessly scanning an Arena-class ship. Meanwhile, Dr. Kate Miller reached out to the Void's Eye to offer medical assistance. Several Zelkari crew members had sustained injuries during the battle, and Kate was ready to help them recover. This too was tradition. Once the fight ended, enemies became allies. "Commander Vexel," Jake said, addressing the Zelkari leader, "your ship is free to leave whenever you're ready. But before you go, let me offer some advice. Tell your people what you saw today. Tell them humans don't fight because we hate our enemies. We fight because we love the challenge." Vexel hesitated, then nodded. "I will tell them, Captain," he said solemnly, "but I do not think they will believe me." "That's their choice," Jake replied with a shrug. "But the wise ones will know to stay far away from ships." With arena markings, slowly the Void's Eye turned and began its departure from the system. Other alien vessels, having detected the Zelkari ship, moved to intercept, eager to uncover what had transpired. But as the arena broadcast spread across the networks, they changed course. None wanted to risk the wrath of an Arena-class vessel. Once again, humanity had proven itself the galaxy's most formidable and unpredictable combatant. On the Iron Maiden.
Again.
Jake settled into his command chair with a satisfied smile. "It was a good fight," he remarked. "Shorter than I'd hoped, but the Zelkari showed courage. It deserves respect." "Course, Captain," Lisa Carter asked from her station. "Set course for the Vegas system," Jake ordered. Word is there might be some Klingon ships spoiling for a fight. The crew of the Iron Maiden exchanged eager smiles. More opponents meant more opportunities to test their skills and hone their techniques. For arena fighters, there was no greater joy than a worthy challenge. The Iron Maiden vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind the faint traces of the arena field and the growing legend of what happened to those who dared scan a human arena-class vessel.